Is the youth of the White Sox going to show any promise? Southside, number 26 out of 30. Let's get it. With the players that they added this offseason, Jon Jay comes in on a 1-year, $4 million contract. Kelvin Herrera comes in at a 3-year, $28 million contract, with year 3 being a club option for $10 million. James McCann signed for a 1-year, $2.5 million contract. Ivan Nova acquired from Pittsburgh. Yonder Alonso acquired from Cleveland. And Alex Colomé acquired from Seattle. In terms of lost players, Avisail Garcia goes to Tampa Bay. I mean, he had a bit of a fluky 2017, couldn't replicate that performance last year, so they just let him go within arbitration. I mean, he still had like 1 year left. This was going to be his last year. And Omar Narvaez was the trade piece in the acquisition of Alex Colomé. He was excess goods, so that's pretty much why they let him go. And there were no unrestricted free agent re-signings. With their lineup, last year it was pretty much Jose Abreu with no protection, looking to be more of the same this year. Yohan Moncada needs to perform at the big league level. I need to see it. He was the league leader in strikeouts last year. Jon Jay performed well in KC, not so much in Arizona, and with the lack of lineup protection, don't have high hopes for him. Wellington Castillo gives vet presence at the very least, but only had a good season in his contract year. Same with Yonder Alonso, although I like Alonso's swing. It's the same sort of situation as the latter part of Wellington Castillo. Daniel Palka was 5th in AL Rookie of the Year voting last year. Maybe a sophomore slump on the horizon. And as for the back end of the lineup, not much there either. On the bench, there's James McCann. Solid defense, terrible bat. Luis Garcia can get singles and play decent D. And Brandon Guyer has been terrible the past couple of years, though unimpressive with their bench on the major league level. A little bit more impressive when it comes to the minor league level, because Zach Collins and Eloy Jimenez both look like they could be very good. Eloy Jimenez specifically looks legit and could be excellent for them and provide some protection for Jose Abreu, possibly. As for the rest, Matt Scholes seems okay, but Ryan Goins not very good. Rondon could probably be an extra utility player, but not much shown at the plate. Tilson, probably same deal, except for more of an outfielder than a utility player. Can't get a read on Nicky Delmonico too much, and not sure about Luis Alexander Basabe. And then with their rotation, just a bunch of guys that are not very good. Ronaldo Lopez could be solid. He did overperform his FIP last year, though, so we'll see on that front. But Lucas Giolito, league leader in earned runs and walks, hasn't looked good at all. And as for the rest, Ivan Nova, I mean, he's a subpar pitcher. As for Manny Banuelos, his only big league appearances have not gone well. And, Carlos Rodon hasn't been good. With their minor league pitching depth, Cody Medeiros, I'm not too fond of him. Carson Fulmer seems like he was rushed a bit. As for Jordan Stevens and Dylan Cease, they both look like they could be good if they perform in AAA. Dylan Cease specifically looks like he's not ready yet. And now with the bullpen, pretty top heavy. Kelvin Herrera, he did fall apart in Washington, should still be good. Alex Colomé could be trade bait, same with Nate Jones, although Colomé is still a little bit more, he was a little bit younger than Nate Jones, so maybe he isn't trade bait, but Herrera was signed to a multiple year contract, so I doubt that he's going to be used as trade bait. In sort of similar situation to David Robertson. If they're not ready by next year, then he could probably be traded. Not too fond of Ian Hamilton or Dylan Covey. Jace Fry could be okay. Juan Minaya, it was his best season last year, but that doesn't say much. And Caleb Ferrer underachieved in limited appearances with some of their minor leaguers. Aaron Bummer, he underachieved in his own right. Randall Delgado fell off of a cliff, still in his prime year so. Jose Ruiz looks sketchy, and Diego Vieira and Ryan Burr, guys that I'm not too fond of either, though it looks pretty unimpressive with their depth. And so now we tally it up. A lineup gets a grade of a C-, hitting depth gets a grade of a D, rotation grade D-, starter depth D-, bullpen grade C+, bullpen depth grade D. As a whole, a roster with some top-heavy or some really good pieces, but no depth to support those really good pieces. Doesn't spell anything good. And I forgot, in terms of injuries, they have Michael Kopech with Tommy John surgery. He needs some more time to sort himself out, so don't know too much about him, at least when it comes to this year's type production. And now with the coaching staff. Manager Rick Renteria, don't think too much of him, C- grade. Hitting coach Todd Steverson, not many hitters have developed at the big league level, so C-. Pitching coach Don Cooper, should probably find a new pitching coach sometime soon, because C- for him as well. And the bullpen coach Kurt Heiser, not too much good, not too much bad, grade of a C. In short, I don't see this coaching staff swinging the tide for this team that they have presented in front of them. And now for their schedule. They get the benefit of playing in the AL Central, but that is still not too much of a benefit, considering the fact that they are one of the worst teams in their division, and they're going to be the team that's bullied. Cleveland, they face 9 times at home, 10 times on the road. Same goes for Detroit and Kansas City. As for Minnesota, they face them 10 times at home, 9 times on the road. With the rest of the AL, they face Baltimore 3 times at home, 3 times on the road. Same goes for Tampa Bay and Oakland and Seattle. They also face Boston 4 times at home, 3 times on the road. Same with the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Rangers. And that leaves the Angels and Astros 3 times at home, 4 times on the road. And now with the Interleague, facing the Cubs 4 times a year, as always, twice at home, twice on the road. Facing off against the NL East, they go to Atlanta for a 3-game set, and they also go to Philly for a 3-game set, while hosting the Marlins and Mets for 3-game sets apiece. And then they face the Nats 2 times at home, 2 times on the road. Overall, they're going to have some tough interleague matchups with the NL East and the fact that they face the Cubs, but it'll also be tough with their AL West matchups. They do face some of the tougher teams more often than some of the mediocre or bad teams. They do face the Blue Jays and Rangers, 2 teams that I think are mediocre more often than other teams, but still. Relatively easier schedule just because of the fact that they face the AL Central, but the Twins and Indians are still going to be tough matchups. And now it's time for the portion where all hopes die for this franchise. The record prediction from Bleacher Report is 74-88. RotoChamp has them going 71-91. Fangraphs 69-93. Pacoda 71-91. Those record predictions are a little bit high. The over-under is 74.5. Quite high, because I'm going under 63-99. Because this team, they have no depth, and their prospects haven't shown anything. So until their prospects show me something, I'm not going to be counting on them doing anything. And as I say that, Yoan Moncada is probably going to have a career year, maybe be an MVP candidate, and Jose Abreu will return back to form just because he has some real protection. But anyways, that'll do it for team number 26 out of 30. My personal Twitter account will be at the top, and my YouTube Twitter account will be at the bottom. And that'll do it for this video. We'll see how this ages in a few months.